Hey, we're looking at our comp barrel sets. This is the package that you need to convert an MR or an XR pistol into a P model. To put our QD all steel compensator on a existing XR MR pistol, this is what you need. So it comes with a barrel and a guide rod and of course the comp. I'm gonna open the package and show you a little bit about what's in here because I wanna highlight a couple things and then we'll actually do it on a pistol. We'll put one in, okay? So first thing is, the comp is going to come partially closed. The lever that actually locks the comp is this lever in the back. And so when you pull it out of the box, you'll notice that we didn't close it all the way, all right? The reason for that is when these are brand new, they're very tight. We put tight tolerances on everything. We want the comp to be aligned well. We don't want it to be wiggly, et cetera, et cetera. So the comps are very tight on the barrels. They loosen up when the gun is used. So don't freak out if you find that it's very tight. You put a couple hundred rounds on it, the fit's gonna be perfect, all right? So just realize it's gonna be partially closed like that, and fully closing it is what locks it on, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you do have trouble closing a comp, and I'll highlight this as well in a moment, if you do have trouble closing a comp, usually it's because you didn't seat it all the way on the barrel. So just make sure when you're putting it on the gun that you actually all the way seat it flat against the shoulder of the barrel at the front. Okay. And then the other thing here is the guide rod. Why do we include a guide rod? So it is very similar to a standard Shadow Systems guide rod. However, the screw in the front is raised. It goes past the washer at the end of the guide rod. And the reason for that is it's kind of a fail-safe to make sure that the compensator lever cannot move during firing. Is it necessary? Not really. The comp lock assembly is very positive. There's a detent, it locks in place. It's never going to loosen up, but we include this anyway just as a fail-safe. Okay, these are intended to be on combat handguns, so we're gonna give you the best we can. The recoil spring is really a standard weight spring, so don't worry about that. I mean, obviously you can experiment with different spring weights on our guide rods because you can take the screw out and put a different spring on if you want. Okay, now let's look at an actual pistol here. So this is the assembly on a pistol, and I'll show you that guide rod. So again, the end of it is a little bit raised, and then to take the comp off, this one hasn't been shot very much at all, so it's really tight on this one. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. I've highlighted this in other videos. You can apply pressure on a flat surface. You'll notice I'm holding it at an angle. I'm really contacting the compensator right there against the table, and you can kind of like push it down like this. It makes it very easy to get leverage. Or you can do it the way I'm going to do it now, where you stick a tool in this slot here. All this tool is doing is providing some rotational force. You're not prying, you don't need to pry. You use your other thumb to push really hard with this side, and it'll pop open, okay? So that's how you open the compensator, and again, it's pretty tight. It's one of these things where you might be frustrated the first time you try it, and then you get the hang of it and it's easy, okay? All right, oh, by the way, remember, it's usually easier to take this off when the barrel is forward. You just have more access, so you don't want to try to take it off when it's back here. It's a little harder. All right, so now I'll put it back on, super easy. Again, I like to push the barrel all the way forward so I have some control, and then I bring it to the rear. If you see a gap here, you don't have it seated. It's a good way to gauge. So if I see this, I'm never going to close the lever, right? I want to see it tight on the barrel. That's how I know that it's truly all the way in place. And then I can apply a little pressure, maybe to get more access. I move it forward, and I can close it all the way. Okay, you heard that sharp click. That means it's locked in. Again, the guide rod is just a backup. Put the guide rod in, put the frame back together, and now you have built, in this case, an MRP. Comment I want to make, this is really important. When you put a compensator on a pistol, there might be some changes you have to make to ammunition, to technique, etc. A lot of people expect everything to be the same all the time, whether it's comped or uncomped, okay? You don't put 87 gas in a Ferrari. You don't put the wrong ammunition in a comped pistol. You want to experiment and find something that works well. Some people will never notice a difference. Some people will discover that the ammunition that they use for their range trips isn't producing enough gas pressure. It just depends, but my point is, like, be willing to experiment a little bit, give it some time, and figure out what works best in terms of technique and ammunition when you're running your comp pistol. Lots of these guns are in law enforcement duty holsters. That's not a joke, that's not a lie. We're actually seeing T&E and even issue and acceptance in the duty world for a compensated pistol using this style compensator. So they are reliable, effective tools to improve your shooting, but you just want to get used to it and learn how to shoot a comp gun. Okay, that's all we have. Again, available on the website. I know they're in stock now in both black and bronze. So if you want to put a compensator on your MR or XR pistol and you want to use the steel style compensator instead of a thread-on or something, we have it ready for you. Go get one and have fun at the range.